Hello, everybody, and welcome to the new episode of the Nobody Asked for This podcast. Now, I'm being a little bit risky today. Would you like to know why? I'll tell you. The reason is my phone has been overheating. Now, I've been complaining about the cold for about 3 weeks, so I'm a little confused how a phone can overheat when it's not even hot. Like, doesn't there have to be heat for something to be overly so? So that's a bit confusing to me, but the risk in that is my phone randomly will shut down and crash. So I could record this. I could get to the end of a half an hour of solid episode making, and it could crash at any moment, which honestly is adding to there's kind of some suspense. I've been reading a lot of mystery books lately, and by I've been reading a lot of mystery books lately, I mean I finally finished the mystery book that I started 2 months ago. So I was reading a lot of mystery book, rather, this week. So I'm still kind of in that eerie sort of vibe. And I like bringing that kind of energy to the podcast. So I'm excited. I hope everyone has had the best week. They can't all be great, but I hope this one was. I'm okay. I felt there was that first day when you're just starting to get sick, and then the next day you start feeling worse, and then the third day you're like, okay, no, I'm sick. I was first day sick for 9 days in a row, and it never really went anywhere, and now it's gone. So I don't know that I was sick. Sick in the head, maybe, but I don't know I don't know how to interpret that. And then I started thinking, I was like, would I rather that? Would I rather be mildly sick, and I'm talking about a cold, would I rather have a mild cold for a week, or a full-on cold for 3 days? And I think I'm going mild. Which I normally go spicy. I don't normally go mild, so that's not a sentence I say. But I think I'm going to go mild cold for 9 days, although that just seems miserable too. I'm also very much a let's just get this over with type of person. But I'm also a procrastinator, and I guess you can't be all three of those people. Huh. I'll tell you, I've said this before. Oh, also my phone's at 17%. So this is really just poor planning after poor planning. I would love one day, I haven't necessarily seen a therapist before, but if there's any therapizers, what is that called? Yeah, no, therapists. I was expecting it to be a different word than the one I just said, but no, it is in fact, the word is therapist. If there's any therapists that would like to kind of recruit me as a client, let's go for it. I feel like I'd be a really easy client because you would have our sessions or whatever. Should I edit that out? Who cares? You would have our sessions or whatever, but then you would also have a bonus half an hour each week of me talking, which I'm sure you would want, where you could really kind of dive into what my real thoughts and feelings were. Because I feel like one of the reasons I haven't gone to therapy, and because I'm sure it is great, whether or not you're in a crisis, just to talk through stuff. But I feel like I wouldn't be honest. I think I would just be oh my gosh, everything is so good. And they'd be well, what, and how did you feel about that? Great. I'm still programmed to be not a BSer, but if someone asks me oh, how are you doing? I'm obviously going to say oh, I'm so good. And then sometimes I hear it and I'm I'm not bad. Even if I'm not doing bad, I'm I'm not that good. Why did I feel the need to be overly good? Not everything has to be overly good. This podcast is overly good, of course. We're drowning in good. What's not overly good is my haircut that I haven't got yet, that I desperately need. So there's that. I kind of want an iced coffee. It's finally not frigid. Even on the days where it's not warm, it's not frigid. But we are in and sort of entering the season where, like, it's jacket jeopardy. Like, sometimes you need a jacket, sometimes you don't. And sometimes those moments where you do and don't are within 30 minutes of each other. So, like, you'll need a jacket in the morning, afternoon will be warm, and then you'll need a jacket, coming home. But it's like, what am I supposed to do in that middle section with my jacket? I'm not just going to, like, drag it around with me. And they haven't really come up with an answer to the question. The closest answer they came up with was I guess the method of just, like, tying using your sleeves as, like, a belt to just tie your jacket around your waist. But you're not going to do that with a winter coat. So, like, I don't know where to go from here. In more ways than one. Because, yeah, I'm looking weathered. I have to get, like, a baseball cap or something. Because this is not going well for me. I just saw something really fascinating. I'm in the car. I'm in a parking lot, as per usual. Because what else am I supposed to be doing? Wednesday night. But I just saw a sign change. Like a big poster on the side of a building. I saw them change it from one movie to another. And I had never seen something like that before. And I was really excited about it. Like, they take out they have to, like, undo the frame at the side. So it's like a picture frame. They take out the one poster movie thing, so it's like no longer your moment, get over it. And then they attach, it basically looks like a rolled up curtain. They attach it at the top, and then they just, I guess they do a count, they do a 1, 2, 3, and they release, and the whole thing comes down to tell me that there's a movie called Hurry Up Tomorrow coming soon. I hope not too soon, because then they're gonna have to change that poster, and that seemed like a lot of work. I wonder who decides, like, who gets the marquee, like, who gets the spot on the... See, I'm taking off my jacket. It's getting hot again. Who gets that spot? And also, for how long? I'm going to track it. What is today's date? Today is March 20-something or other. And I'm going to keep an eye on this building. And when I see that it changes, I will report. I will report back and I'll say, it happened. It changed. And we're all going to be confused as to what I'm talking about. But yeah, I feel like, I love the movie theater. I'm at a movie theater right now. But I almost feel like this is a completely empty parking lot. Like, where, like, don't people go to the cinema anymore? I love going to a movie. To be honest, sometimes there's, like, I wish I'm very jumpy today, bouncing around. I wish the movie theater could operate as, like, a Netflix where, like, I could tell them what they're playing, because sometimes I don't want to watch those movies. Also, how about we show, like, TV episodes? Like, just, like, on cable. Like, there's not that many popular, like, shows that are actually on, like, cable. So, like, let's just have, like, a TV running in this movie theater. Like, maybe I want to watch the new episode of Survivor in a theater. It's quicker. It's only an hour as opposed to, 3. These movies are kind of getting wild. Which you think they would get shorter. Like, everything's getting more expensive, including the ticket. But, like, the movies are getting longer, which doesn't that make them more expensive? And if you really need to do a 4-hour movie or a 3-hour movie, make it 2 movies, which they love to do too, because then that's a money grab as well. So I'm just a little confused. Like, it's a little too earnest for me to believe that, like, you want to give people a 3-hour movie for the price of, like, a 90-minute movie and not 2 complete separate movies. Because here's the thing. Anytime they do 2 complete separate movies, it's for movies that only needed 1 movie. But then there is a movie that's, like, 4 hours, and I'm like, okay, like, I could see how you needed that, like, make that 2 movies. And it doesn't have to be, like, we don't have to release one part 1 year and then the next part 4 years later or a year later. Like, give me a week. Give me a week to digest the first one, and I will come back to you a week later and watch the second half of your movie. Like, why the gap? Mind the gap, as the tube in London says. Someone next to me is smoking a cigarette. I've never smoked a cigarette, and I don't really see that in my future, although I respect everyone's choices. I actually don't know that I know how a cigarette works. Like, if someone handed me a cigarette and said, do this, perform cigarette, I don't know that I could have, like, do you just light, like, the end of it until it catches fire? Like, it's actually, if you think about it, cigarettes are quite the technology. And then I always see people, like, they don't finish their, like, how far to the nub are you supposed to smoke a cigarette? Because I've seen people smoke what looks like half a cigarette and then, like, 5 minutes later, like, get another cigarette. And it's like, well, no, but you still had half of that cigarette left. Like, can you save them? Can you, like, put them in, like, a bag or something? Not a bag. Obviously, that would be bad for the environment. Like a Tupperware? Wait, are cigarettes pollution? I never thought about this. Like, Greta Thunberg, is she against cigarettes? Like, not because of the lung issues, but because of the pollution. She must be. Okay, I gotta crack a window. 1 sec. But no, she must be, which is interesting because I believe she is European, and I think they love cigarettes over there. So is she, like, kind of caught between two worlds? Okay, I'm Googling. Not specifically about her. I don't think that information would pop up. But 1 sec, I have to screenshot something. Okay. Are cigarettes pollution? Is it a pollutant? Cigarette butts are a persistent form of toxic plastic pollution. See, get your Tupperware. Littered in the environment, they do not biodegrade. Right, and this is from oceancare.org. So that's like kind of the, yeah. I bet you cigarettes end up in the same spot that the plastic straws were ending up and choking out all the turtles. Okay, yes, cigarettes and their waste contribute to pollution in several ways. So they do. Air pollution, plastic pollution, carbon footprint. See, this is not looking good. I hadn't thought of any of this before. Huh. Leave it to me to make something, fun and safe, like cigarettes, a problem. Again, respect to anyone, whatever choice you want to make, you go for it. I'm having some ear issues. I talked about how I got my eyes checked last week, so I know that the eyes are fine. I've always said, like, an ear, nose, throat doctor would have, like, a field day with me and my sinuses, just because for whatever reason, that's sort of the, we all have our strengths and our weaknesses. My weakness is sinus, unfortunately for me. But it could be worse, so, I make it work. But, so we've got the ear, nose, throat. Oh, I guess there's not eyes involved. I was thinking the E in ear, nose, throat doctor was eyes, nose, throat doctor. Are your eyes part of your sinuses? I feel like it's like a kind of all up in there. It must be, I think it probably in some way. I only say this because anytime I think of eyes or like eye sockets, I think of the video that I saw on YouTube like years and years and years ago. I feel like everyone, especially if you were like around my age, so like when like YouTube was getting really popular, you were like young enough to be very impressionable, but old enough that like you could probably navigate the website on your own, even though you probably shouldn't have been, type thing. I saw a video of somebody who was able to like drink milk and then squirt it out of their eyes, and that has like stuck with me forever. I don't know why. Like, it's one of those things, like, I don't choose what I remember. If I could choose what I remember, I would be much better of a person. But I can't. So, there's that. But I'm assuming if you can, like, reroute the track, like, the milk to go from your throat to your eyes, like, there is some sinus connection, which will be the name of this episode, Sinus Connection. 1 sec, let me write that down. Sinus Connection. We have to be getting close to episode 150, no? That's going to be fun. And then at that point, we're as close to 200 as we are to 100. Which that's really crazy. And then I'll hit you with episode 151, and we're even closer to 200. And a little bit further from 100. Time truly flies. I think it's going to be... I think we started in June of 2022. So in June of this year, this will have been 3 years. That's not nothing. Listen, you can say a lot of things about me. You can say I, maybe don't have the best social life. You can say I'm maybe not the brightest, I'm not the smartest, not the sharpest tool in the shed. But I've been talking to myself on audio files that I record and place on the internet that no one asked for almost 3 years. And you know what that's called? Insanity, yes, but also perseverance. Now, what I've persevered against, I don't know. I guess, I'm not sure. There's not, an opponent to my perseverance. It just is what it is. I just am perseverance. And I hope that's inspiring. Speaking of inspiring, like I said before, I did read a book. I finished a book, finally. And I'm almost halfway through a new book. I'm reading the new Hunger Games book. When I was younger, that was I loved, when I was really young. What's really young? I don't know. When I could read, but was still considered young. Which I guess you could describe me as now. I don't know. I'm weird about calling myself old. I'm not one of those people that's oh my God, I'm turning 22. I'm so old. Obviously there's older people than me, in human existence, but also around me. So I almost feel I can't say that I'm old because I'm usually one of the younger ones in the room. And if I'm calling me old, then everyone else around me is ancient type thing. So I'm really careful about that. But when I was about 8, I crushed those Geronimo Stilton books. And you don't really hear about him. He didn't really follow. He wasn't really ushered into the new era. I feel there's something going on with kids programming lately, and her name is Peppa Pig. There is a Peppa Pig monopoly. I feel from what I remember from when I was younger and watching cartoons and stuff, there was different. It was more of an open market. You could go to Blue's Clues. You could watch Barney. You could watch Bob the Builder. There was more variety. Where I feel really all of these kids care to watch is Peppa. I don't know any other children's programming. I can name a couple. But, Peppa is Peppa. So I sat down and I watched Peppa. And I said, what is this thing that all of these kids are just, glued to? And honestly, I didn't really get it. I didn't see it. It wasn't there's no humor. There's no jokes. I think a good kids program, I'm literally 95 calling it a program. I think a good kids program gives something for an older audience to laugh at, chuckle at, think is even trying to be funny. It's not even an insult to the writers of Peppa Pig. I don't think they're trying. They're just literally and then she went to school. Da 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 da. And if that's what the kids like, I'm all in. And I hope that it's all on the up and up. I think the people that make children's TV really have quite the, with great power comes great responsibility. They could not trick kids. Brainwash isn't the right word, but they really could you're fostering the youth, the next generation, and that's a big responsibility. And I just don't know what Peppa Pig is giving them. But they love it. And they can't stop, won't stop. And apparently Peppa's mom just had a new baby. Which was very confusing to me because I think they announced it a couple weeks ago. And then I looked up pig gestational time, and it was still a few more months. So I guess she was fairly far along when they announced it, which makes sense. But now it's like, do we have to go out and start buying like the new baby's toy? Like if you had like the Peppa Pig like stuffed animal set, like you're trying to collect them all. You've no longer collected them all. And then that kid is probably going to grow. Like I feel like, or are they? Because I guess Peppa's been the same age forever. That's really interesting. I wonder if they're kind of scrambling over at Peppa Pig headquarters. Because, like, George, Peppa's brother, has been the same age forever. Peppa's been the same age forever. Like, she should be, like, I think well into her 20s by now. And she's still, like, in elementary school, which is totally fine. But, like, is this baby just going to be baby forever? Or are we going to have to, like, keep updating the stuffed animal? But then maybe only to a certain point, like they'll let the kid keep aging until he's only like a couple years younger than like the brother, and then he's set. Or are Mommy Pig and Daddy Pig just stuck changing pig diapers for the next however many years the show goes on? I don't know. Also, I just put together that I haven't had a cold for 9 days. I've had allergies. I literally I think I don't know what month it is. I don't know any of that. I don't know the day nor the time. It's totally just allergies. Case closed. I've had 9 days of first day sick, mild cold symptoms, that also known as allergies, which I've had forever, yet surprise me every time. How does that happen? Like, every single year, except the year that COVID happened, because everyone was so, like, aware of, like, coughing and stuff. Like, I was very aware of, like, how am I feeling? But, like, I'm used to having some sort of a sinus issue. So I don't always, like, really realize it until I'm in it. But no, I'm totally just having allergies. Case closed. Like, that was... I'm smart. I promise. I'm really nice, you know? Most of the time. Sometimes I think I'm a little grumpy. And then I'll say, like, oh, I'm so sorry if I'm being grumpy. And everyone's like, you're not being grumpy. And I'm like, well, that's because I haven't said everything I'm thinking. It's like when people are like, oh, you're so nice. I'm like, I'm not that nice. And they're like, no, you are. You know, you don't say a bad word about anybody. I'm like, yeah, but I think it. And that is something I've thought about a lot. It's like, do truly nice, like, genuinely kind people, like, are they just good at holding their tongue? Or do they not have these thoughts that everyone else has? You know? Like the mean ones. Because also, you can't help what you think. You're 100% responsible for if you say it or what you do. I'm not like one of those people on a reality show who says, like, the meanest thing they can think of under the guise of, like, oh, I'm just being honest. You know, all these people on these shows. I tell it like it is. It's like, you can't all tell it like it is, because that's just, you know, that's just not like, that can't be everybody's personality. So I tell it like it is. And then you watch the show and, like, no one's telling it like it is. Whatsoever. So there's that. And don't worry, I did not forget that I started a half review of the first 42% of the new Hunger Games book 20 minutes ago. But I like it so far. That is my review. I'll come back with a full review next week. I'll hopefully have read it by then. 50-50 shot. I will either, mark my words, because I really am enjoying it. Like, more than I've enjoyed a book in a while. I will either finish it today or tomorrow, or in 2 months. There's no in between. I either finish a book immediately, like within a couple days. I'm not that fast of a reader, but like if you have 8 hours, you can read a 300-page book, you know? Like, even a slow reader can do that, aka me. Especially if it's a good book. There's nothing like reading a book and wanting to read it. But there's also nothing like having to read a book and not wanting to read it. That is the worst, hands down. The worst is being forced to read, and it actually ruins reading. So, here's my advice to everybody. If you're in school, if you've been like a lifelong reader, and now you're like about to start like an English lit degree, do your best to just Google the summaries of the books that you don't want to read. I promise you, it'll allow you to keep your love of reading in other, reading other types of books. Your love of joy reading, because really, it can ruin the experience being forced to read. Now, I'm sure this advice will be extinct or whatever in 10 years when, like, you can just have your AI chip download everything. And, like, reading and studying won't be required anymore. But, like, for the now, for the here and the now, for the short term, that would be my advice. Also, once we all have AI chips, like, are we really going to have to study? Like, at what point do we all just stop trying? Like, if we're going to just, like, turn ourselves into robots, like, I think we're good. Like, I think I'm comfortable with the amount of technology and the level of which AI has been implemented in our lives now, for the most part. I think we're done. I think we can stop. I think we can take the geniuses that are working on advancing AI and use those brains to, like, figure out what we do with our jackets in that middle part of the day where it's too hot to wear a jacket but too cold to, like, fully commit to not wearing a jacket for the rest of the day. We need those smart people, and I mean this genuinely, like, we need to reallocate those IQ points, because there's a finite amount of smartness in the world, and I just feel like we have to make sure that it's being used in the correct departments. That's just sort of how I feel. I'm really, like, I need some water. There's a little bit left. Can you hear in the end of my water bottle? So I'll do some, what is that called? ASMR. When did it get so hot? I have a winter jacket, a hoodie, like a plaid shirt. I always have to be in some sort of plaid. I don't know why. My phone's dying. My phone's at 7%. This is just... I have to go to the washroom, and I'm, like, nowhere near a washroom. This is just... It's a mess. My hair is a sweaty mess. I'm unshaved. Like, this is not going well for me. I hope everyone is having a much better Wednesday evening. But I'm kind of enjoying it. I'm enjoying spending this time with you. Every once in a while, I record an episode, and I'm like, ugh, gotta get this thing out. But most of the time, I enjoy it. It's, like, fun. And that is a quote. It is like fun. It's like fun. It is fun. But anyway, looking forward. I think this is the last episode of March, which is absolutely crazy. The fact that, like, I think next week is April. Is an April Fool in and of itself. And then it's going to be May, and then it's, like, full-blown going to be summer. Like, spring goes by like that. But then so does winter, fall, and whatever that fourth one is. What is the fourth season? Winter, fall, spring, summer. So does summer. Summer flies by. Sometimes, especially, like, during the hot weeks, I'm like, can we just get to fall? Like, when I can start kind of smelling the pumpkin... I won't start talking about it yet, but the pumpkin spice latte. Which I actually don't think I've had an actual pumpkin spice latte in a couple years. But, like, just the vibe. I would like that vibe. And we kind of got, like, fall-ish weather the other day. Because, like, as you go closer to summer, like, you get fall and then, like, spring happens. Like, it's all cyclical, at least where I am. And I got really excited for fall, and then I realized that, like, we are so far from fall. And, like, it's only getting hotter. I've also decided that I actually don't mind when the sun sets, like, a little bit earlier than it has been. Like, I'm good with, like, a 6 p.m., like, it's dark at 6:30. At least for now. Like, I don't need it to be, sunny at 7 o'clock in March. It kind of makes it like, can we just get this thing over with? Like, let's just keep it moving. Next day, let's go to bed. Whereas in the summer, yes, love it. It's like dark 8:30. It's still light out. that's perfect because you can do something with that. But, like, what do you want me to do? It's almost like a threat for it to still be light at 7 o'clock in the middle of March. Like, I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to go outside. Is that what you're asking me, son? You want me to hang out with you? No. But anyway, this has been a whole lot of nothing, but I've actually enjoyed it. So thank you so much for listening. I'm going to go to the washroom and stop sweating. But my phone made it. Hopefully this episode recorded the risk. Hopefully, fingers crossed, I don't want to speak too soon, but it might have paid off. But if you like what you heard, you can go to podcastnobodyaskforthis.podbean.com. On there, you can listen to all of the episodes. You can get links to our Apple, Spotify, all that. And if you listen to this, I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much. Go out and enjoy the sun for the next hour that we have it. Hour too long if you ask me, but I respect everyone's opinion. Go have a cigarette or don't. And I'll talk to you next week. Goodbye.